Hello, folks. Welcome back to our dramatic conclusion to our Week 6 North American Challenger Cup. My name's F. Joined here, as always, by Kret. Rambozos took game number 1 in, well, spectacular fashion. 10,000 gold plus differential between the two teams. 5 Angry Men picked a couple of comfort picks, and, well, spectacular fashion. Over 10,000 gold separating the two teams as the Titan fell. And now we're going to see which team can do it one more time. Winner of this takes home 100 seed points. Rambozos will stay in number 1 seed. 5 Angry Men with a win here will catapult to number 2 seed, which is what matters, Kret. What happens to the top 2 seeds in our North American Challenger Cup?
Top 2 seeds will be going into the wildcard round robin, tournament experience, 2-week play-in. And the top 2 teams coming out of that, they'll also be joined by the bottom 2 teams of the SPL. So the 2 teams that come out on top of that round robin will be going to the playoffs in November. So it's really important that 5 Men makes that push for second place. They're going to lock in Raw as their first pick. It worked really well for them last game. Great play by the best. Mesa Vase should be able to play that as well. So I love the pick. It's a little bit flexible. It's very good for them. Take something away from Rambozos. Zaduro is a great Raw as well. The other thing we should mention is first and second seed don't really matter for the wild card because it is round robin. So they just have to get there. Taking first seed from the Rambozos, I don't think it's actually possible, but even if they did it, not a big deal. As long as you go. That's what matters.
Right. Ra, Freya, Athena picked up so far all quality priority picks. Apollo being hovered on as well. Bastet, not a priority pick, but is going to be picked up this time around by 5 Angry Men. Interesting. Bastet actually... So here's the deal. Bastet does very well against Freya. Valkyrie's Discretion will separate Freya from the ground, but not from the bleed damage. And when Valkyrie's Discretion is on cooldown, slows and cats will just make Freya's life extremely difficult. Freya can play both in the hunter role and in the jungle. So Bastet will be harassing Freya regardless of where she is.
Yeah, the other thing I want to mention is that late game cats kind of fall off because they die so easily in team fights. And Bastet has the ability to just use them as a shield in front of the Freya, which can be really nice because the best way to play around Freya is to stop her from using her steroid. She has a 5-second window where Pulse and Irradiate is active. And you want to have her get as little as possible out of that. We're going to see a Zhang Kui once again for the Rambozos. I like the pick on them. We'll see what it does. And, they have to find a counter for what happened last game with Mace of the Face and with the best. And in part, it's the Isis and the Ra. That combination honestly just feels really good after we've seen Agilitas perform so well with it as well. Just Isis, Ra have really great synergy, perhaps. But I think it's also the players.
It's definitely also the players. The players here, as we mentioned last game, both Aduro and Mace of the Face play very good Isis. Isis is a character that will perform well if you have an understanding of her kit, and will perform average if you are just picking her up for the role you're asked to play. So these players do have experience on her, and just fantastic play coming out. Not going to see her this time around with that counterban.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the other thing I want to mention is, well, first of all, we actually have a skip ban coming up, just not in time from 5 Angry Men, so I suppose that's unfortunate, but not going to be taking that ban, and we'll be moving on to the next pick, seeing what that's going to be for the Rambozos. They have their solo lane and their either jungle or hunter, depending on where Freya goes, left available, or maybe support if it's like Athena jungle, which is Krishank's good enough to do. It's going to be Vamana. That's solo lane. We have seen him run in support by Incon and Allied and Ranked, but
stop.
No. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah,
Vamana lives in the solo lane. Not really impact. Technically, I guess Vamana could middle lane, but not enough impact to really matter in the solo lane or in the middle lane. So the solo lane is where he resides. Solo lane, the Vamana choice is interesting. Vamana is the best default physical carry in the solo lane. The best, traditionally a middle laner, really likes to play those mages, those burst mages that we see a lot, and Vamana's going to be taken away from him, so if he wanted to go physical, he's going to have to go a tertiary pick or magical. The Habwa pick and the Ares pick coming out from 5 Angry Men. Love these picks. They're looking for a lot of damage, some sustain with the Ra, and Habwa on the best. We mentioned before how Scylla has really become the best character, but before Scylla was introduced, Habwa is what the best brought to every party.
The other thing I want to mention is I believe I've played with Bugsy on his Ares before. I think he actually quite likes Arena, and Ares is the king of Arena, so I also expect this to be a comfort pick for him.
Right.
Rom for the ADC, so that tells us Freya in the jungle, something that Grishank is good with. We don't see too much Freya jungle, and my biggest reservation about it is she doesn't have anyone to set up. There's no Ra, there's no Kukulkan, so I think that could be a big weakness. That said, this composition is really 3 protect 2, right? You've got like a front line, Athena, Zhongqi, Vamana. You've got the back line that's very damaging in Rom and Freya. We'll see how this all works out in just a few minutes, guys, so stay tuned. 5 Angry Men versus the Rambozos in your last match of the day in a best of 3. It's tied 1-1. This is for a lot of seed points, and this really matters for who's going to a wild card.
Hello, folks, and welcome to our conclusion for Week 6 of the North American Challenger Cup. Excuse me real quick. 5 Angry Men won the second game after Rambozos took the first, both of which were won, honestly, by a landslide. We're going to see how this third game matches up. This time around, comfort pick on the best, playing his known Habwa. Homafei picking a direct counter to the Freya that Grishank will be on. Chris Pocket. Athena is his first pick Guardian. I do know that much. How do you feel about Meerkat on Vamana?
I actually think he's quite a good Vamana, and I am excited to see how this plays out. Is building to respect best with that Emerald Talisman, and I think that's a good idea as well. So hopefully Meerkat will have more luck this game than he did last game, where I think tier really did not work. But 5 Angry Men. So the big thing is, the big question, and there is a word here from the Rambozos, which is good play. Is Bastet going to do the jump steal, and where?
That is an interesting thought. She should.
Yeah, you should.
It's a boon to the character. It's a part of what she does. She steals, so go for the jump. We don't see her positioned anywhere for that.
Strange.
She's just going to go ahead and pick up the mid. Going to play it safe this time around is Homie Effie, so nothing big like that. Do want to give a shout out to our production staff. They have gone ahead and fixed the upper scoreboard. You should be able to see the new scoreboard in all of its glory. Once again, this is the new patch and thus the new spectator UI. Please let us know your feelings about it on Twitter, on Reddit, etc. Now that we're all up and going, players have made their way into the lane. Mace to the Face sees Aduro. The two members in the solo lane see each other, and the duo lane are starting to get underway as well. We have a game.
Hashtag praise Josh just for fixing that overlay for us. That was a really great job from him. But yeah, so in the middle lane, Mace the Face is literally sitting on the edge of Aduro's tower in his heal. This is very aggressive play coming out from Ra. He has the jungle pressures. Grishank, once again, playing a farm-centric jungler. Seems really kind of just what he's been liking to do recently. Will show up on that Freya, but Mace is taking full advantage of his early power. Look at that. This is so brazen.
Directly going into the red buff, showing the Rambozos that they're going into the red buff.
Yeah.
Drops the heal. Help from Bugsy coming over here, and AD carry. So 4-man invade onto the red buff. Honestly, Cret, we saw this last match.
Yeah, now the problem is 4-man is where things start to get a little inefficient. So I don't know if I really like that, but hold on, caught out of position. This is a red buff Ra and could do a lot of damage. Heal dropped, Grishank getting low. Will try and juke and get away, and it looks like he's gonna be fine, but down to only 200 health will make clearing the jungle a little bit harder.
That play is a lot less about what they can gain and more about what they can take away.
Yeah.
So I don't think 5 Angry Men are really too concerned about the lack of efficiency splitting the experience between 4 members as much as they are. They took away red buff away from that Zhongqi. They took away the experience away from Grishank. That's what it's all about. And as you said, Mace to the Face, this red buff Ra, doing a lot of damage. Celestial Beam taking about just a hair under a quarter of life away from that Freya, who doesn't fare well in the beginning anyway. So not only taking the buff away, you're putting her health down low. You're ensuring that Freya really won't be able to impact the early game.
Well, and this is also a potion of magical might on Race to the Face. So, cost 400 gold, 50 early magic power really needs to make this work out for him. And the aggressive play that he's done is starting to do just that. I mean, looking at Aduro's total gold, 2,200 versus 2,400. So, he's made up half of his potion of magical might in the first 3 minutes. That's pretty good.
Left-hand lane, a lot of aggression coming out from 5 Angry Men. So just taking a brief look at the map pressure, 5 Angry Men are winning the pressure fight in the left lane. They're winning the pressure fight in the right lane, which should give them an advantage on the middle lane, rather, which should give them an advantage on these left-hand Harpies. Mace of the Face 1v2ing, gets the kill with an ultimate in Aduro's face. No fancy footwork, no plays, just straight damage coming out from this Ra to earn his team the first blood of the game. He's going to go ahead and back. Mid-camp's taken up by Homofe with the leap, and interesting choice to back coming out from Mace of the Face right there.
He didn't have any mana, but he could have maybe shared in some experience. So Meerkat is going to rotate for those mid-camps. He gives up some lane pressure. Best isn't going to try and counter his rotation. He's just going to get the farm while he can, because Best needs to make sure that he's staying as far forward and as far on his front foot as possible in this lane. Mace of the Face, and here's the real question. Or not really a question, more of a something to think about. Mace should not have gotten that kill because there's no reason to fight him. Let him do what he wants.
Mace of the Face sitting level 7, 2 levels over his enemy mid laner, and Grishang just sort of sitting in this lane permanently. He's duoing in this middle lane, so that will help him recover some of the red buff stuff that he lost, but 5 Angry Men are playing very aggressive, willing to dive and shooting the ultimates and just getting damage out. Aduro, however, uses the ult of himself, takes out the jungler. Mace of the Face gets lifted, no follow-up though, as the Best gets chased out by 2 people.
It could be in trouble. Meerkat's going to get in range. Aduro actually taken down by 80 carried with that big rotation. Now, I want to say getting collapsed on, but really it's more like a flank attack. 80 carried taking damage. Grishang forced to reposition, but with only boots 2, he could be very slow. The Best needs the wet paper, but not quite going to find it. Speed buff is going to be the call. Grishang. Okay, come on. This is really risky. Will reset. Meerkat is here with Chris Pocket. That lift had to be that perfect, and Mace, that's really unfortunate. It seems like he is disconnected from the match. Hubwa is going to ult in, will find Grishang, so it is 1-for-1. I don't think Meerkat really realized that it was disconnect until he had the kill.
Yeah, I mean, that unfortunately does go down, and at the end of the day, that is a kill that you have to take. This is for all the poker chips, and Mace of the Face is definitely disconnected, as we do see him delayed there on the Spectator UI. I expect to see a pause come out here very soon, and there it is. Paused by the Best. We're going to cut to a brief break. Hopefully Mace of the Face can come right back in here. This is an exciting matchup. 5 Angry Men, Mace of the Face's team leading by 1,500. We'll see what they can do when they get their mid laner back. Stay tuned. All right, folks, we have returned. Mace of the Face has also returned. Unfortunate circumstances, but this is an important game. This is game 3 of the finals of the North American Challenger Cup. The direct path to the SPL, what could possibly be a $1 million plus prize pool. You take what you can. Mace of the Face has returned. Kills are 3-2. 5 Angry Men are leading. Ross still in a significant position despite his death right there, and we will see how he fares soon. Coming up in just a couple of seconds, mid camps. We'll see who gets him.
Yeah, it's going to be the next really big point of contention. Chris Pocket is ready on the left-hand side. Jean-Qui in the middle lane will be clearing. Has to clear after his opponent and give Mace all of that due respect. Still level 9. So very high level Ra. Oh, sorry, level 8. I totally misread that. But, yep, mid-camps are going to be traded evenly. And this game is, once again, 5 Angry Men getting very big advantages early on. Their early game play is really good.
Credit that to Mace of the Face. We in jest a lot of the time credit this to Mace of the Face's experience on Denial, but in all seriousness,
I feel like it kind of is.
I think it's rooted somewhere. Yeah. Denial, to be fair, Denial didn't win much, but they always did well in the beginning of the game, and I think that sort of strategy and mindset has to have carried over at least a little bit.
Yeah, and in sort of good early game, I feel like it's deliverable to your team. Like, when you have someone who can tell people what to do at this point in the game, he could just kind of go into ranked, assuming the people on Curse with him would listen, and have an early game kind of like this. Now, it's not realistic because it's ranked and your team hates you and they're not going to listen to you.
You'll get cred on your team.
Exactly, and I'm going to call you a stupid jerk or something, but you know, the point is it's deliverable. Shot calling is something that where if people listen, you can make it happen, and Mace seems to be doing really well for his team. On the right hand side, you know, you also got to talk about the best. He's sitting level 10, roughly even with Meerkat in terms of experience, in terms of gold. He's up 400, and best will turn into a hyper carry.
Up in the air in the left hand lane is Rom. Really no kill potential there.
It was for the Ares ult.
Got it. Middle lane, though. That looks like some kill potential. Lift coming out from Grishank. Mace to the face, half or lower. The best gets the kill before, and Grishank falls in the middle lane. But as I said, not before the best takes out his enemy solo laner. Homefe pushed out by the Valkyrie's discretion.
Yeah, left-hand side, some aggression onto Paradox. He's going to have to roll away. Actually, Cats come out onto Aduro. They're not going to find the block, and Aduro with that sprint to, early sprint to, now healing up. Zhonghui, honestly, is a pretty good matchup against Bastet, as long as you get that sprint to, and God forbid you don't get cat block. So what the cat block is sometimes the cats will appear in a triangle around someone, perfectly body blocking them in on all three sides, and you just kind of die. It pretty much guarantees a kill on whoever gets hit by the cat block. And it's sort of luck. You can position yourself and drop the ultimate in such a way to make the cat block more likely, but I don't think anyone is able to reliably get someone with that.
It's a little tough. I have seen Laz's replicate it more than once.
Yeah, I mean, you can really stack your deck for it, but I'm talking about, like, you can't just do it.
Side, getting pressured on his tower. Needs one more hit, and Meerkat gets it with the return hit from the Umbrella Rang. Of course, this time around, it is a bat playing on that monoskin. Left side of the map, they see the two-man invade on the solo lane, and they're going to go ahead and take the Gold Fury for it. Gold Fury already down to about 25% HP. Goes the way of 5 angry men, but some artillery shots from the Paradox in the back line. Not going to find a kill, but will find damage. Bugsy getting very low. Aduro gets the kill onto the support with that ultimate. Everybody else on 5 angry men low as well, but with the best
look at this
Mace
flank
to the face with that heal, that's going to be good, and Homefe going to fall.
Yeah, Homefe getting flanked out by Grishank. Valkyrie's discretion used to try and confirm some of those kills, but just a little bit too fast. Is 80 carried with the moves, and Mace face with that speed of light. Now this is a big wave. Mace just got so much gold. A little bit more going to 80 carried there. Don't you love that when you're just like, you're chilling in someone else's lane covering for them, and you're like, huh, this is a 9 creep wave. This is a 10 creep wave. It just feels good. In the middle lane, Meerkat is going to be teaming up with Aduro, and they're gonna push some creeps on their tower, but Mace, that's a 10 creep wave. He just got so much farm completely incidentally. That's really fortunate for Mace. Like, that almost makes up for the disconnect. Good luck, bad luck.
I think it might crit.
It actually might. Yeah, like, that's a lot of farm onto a single player. That's really big.
Mace to the face sitting level 11. His enemy mid laner, Aduro, is actually a level over him, sitting at level 12. We're probably going to just hit level 12, so about a quarter of a level above him is Aduro. I am very curious about this Zhonghui pick on Aduro. I feel like Aduro plays skinny burst mages, and here we have a thick Zhonghui, high protection, team fight oriented rather than individual burst. Seems kind of backwards for Aduro, who we see on gods like him on gods like Isis and Habwa. So,
well, left-hand side Paradox forcing his ultimate again. Gonna try and get some damage. And nice taunt from Chris Pocket for that coordination onto 80 carried. So, nice little bit of lane control now in the jungle. Aduro, as you said, playing that thick, tanky mage, but Zhonghui's a great team fighter, and here it is coming out with the Recall Demons. Nice stun, Defender Olympus. The Demons will give chase, and they will find a kill. Now, Mizave is going to turn around. Snipe does not connect. Parted like the Red Sea is the team of the Rambozos. Paradox is going to be crippled out. We'll be able to roll away. And now Aduro's coming back in. Nice banish. Paulo's in the area. Nice ult in. Aduro with the burst, but can this get turned around by 80 carry? He's gonna have to dash away. Now Bugsy in trouble. This is a huge turnaround from the Rambozos. They just picked up so much gold.
Bugsy gets the kill. Grishank gets the kill onto Bugsy, though, so that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but ultimately, with 2 other people dead, that fight will go to the Rambozos.
That's literally 1,000 gold over the fight, and looking at the experience, now 3.5k in favor. You know, you mentioned it, Aduro loves those skinny burst mages, but back in the day, he really liked those teamfight mages, and Zhang Kui really plays this teamfight.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is that teamfight.
Zhang Kui is
sort of the
team
original.
Yep.
Like, maybe like early ISIS, but Zhang Kui was like, all right, this is how a teamfight mage works, and Aduro is just going back to what he used to do about a week ago.
Right camps go to Rambozos. They're going to go ahead and pick that up. Hobwat's weekend as Meerkat picks up the kill with the, again, Umbrella Ring. It was interesting. It was a good boxing match coming out from Hobwa and Meerkat. Hobwa goes ahead, ults into his own tower, feels safe. Both of them are very low, and Freya comes over, hits 1 pulse for the slow, and goes ahead and takes it all. Left camp fight. Chris Pocket gets a good taunt, but up in the air is Bugsy, getting nobody, but forcing out a lot of crowd control immunity. 1 goes away, and Mace to the face going to be taken out with a single shot of Valkyrie's discretion. Grishank earning himself yet another kill, 3-1 and 5 on the Valkyrie in the jungle.
And now look at this. The pillars of the Rambozos team fight are fed. You've got a 3-1 and 5 Freya, as you mentioned, a 4-2 and 4 Zhang Kui, and a 4-1 Vamana. On the left-hand lane, Bugsy in a lot of trouble, very low on health. Will be able to find a kill onto Chris Pocket there, and actually, Bugsy with the juke shoes is gonna be just fine. Now Paradox could be in trouble, but Grishank coming back in with those pulses and the Irradiate, and with the help of the archers,
80
it's a 1-for-1 trade. I'll call it okay, but Paradox now gonna fall with the help from Homie Effie. That's a kill, and a nice little turnaround. 4-5 on your men, 3-for-1, I think.
Gold Fury should be spawning here rather soon, at least within the minute. You've got 2 members of 5 your men here. Not going to really do much. So, Ares versus Rom.
Yeah.
I want to point something out.
Okay.
Well, actually, Aduro taking a lot of damage. Going to be alright. So, Rom wins most boxing matches by default because he doesn't have to actually kill you. He just has to get you in kill threshold and then ult.
Gold
Fury pulled by Homie Effie, Mace to the face here, providing the heal. Here comes Aduro and Chris Pocket. They have to retreat, and they do.
Yeah.
Good call. Meerkat
Another
again
solo kill.
Takes the best in the solo lane. 80 carry gonna land on Aduro. At this point, not quite finished with that Warlock's Edge. Where he is, he's got 9 stacks. Along with the Athena ult and just being Zhang Kui. That's going to be a lot of protection, and he picks up the kill onto the cat. Not a good look coming out from Homie Effie. Just the wrong target to kill. This is why I like Zhang Kui in the center lane, Cret.
Yeah, I mean, he could be really strong in these team fights. It gives you easy access, and, I mean, partially, it's because he's fed. But
of course,
when you get him ahead in the middle lane, he can be so good. And honestly, what I want to see more of is switching. Say, all right, my Zhang Kui's ahead. I'm going to put him in mid and whatever my other mage was. Let's say Yanis in the solo lane just to farm up a little bit. Bugsy's going to blink forward. Taunt was already used, so they have to turn and burn. They will be able to get the Ares down. And Bugsy... Ares is scary because he does so much damage, but he really lacks control options. He controls people with damage, with his cripple as well, and his ultimate can be great when timed properly, because it'll either take everyone's beads or
sort of
potentially
like
put people back in. Exactly. It forces a reaction.
Yep.
But you just don't have the control, so stealing Gold Furies, it's all on the blink.
Yeah, he's definitely not the he's on the, if Bacchus is the top, Ares might be on the bottom. But one thing I wanted to talk about in the lane as right camps go to what looks like Chris Pocket. In the lane, Rom wins most Hunter matches by default because he doesn't have to kill you, just get you into kill threshold, and then ult. Ares will force out the ult, making sure that Rom can't actually do it.
The problem is, and we've seen this happen, I think 2 times so far, when Ares forces out the ult, and Paradox has really good aim, and he just murders AD carry. And with Chris Pocket, who is a very attentive player and has really good mechanics, there's often that follow-up where he's able to go in, probably not positioned close enough to get Ares ult in the first place, as it is a 35-foot radius, which is not that big. It's roughly the same range as Athena's taunt. So he's able to dash in and help confirm that damage. On the left-hand side, Paradox needs some help here. We'll be able to get under tower. Athena ult used just in case. Habwa getting some free farm as Vamana shows up on the left-hand side in his ultimate and gets 2 hits on the AD carried. Going for those chin size on Vamana. And he has enough gold to buy them. So interesting that Meerkat has not backed yet.
Vamana all the way from the other side of the map over here in the duo lane. Bugsy gonna go ahead and ult 2 underneath the tower. Unfortunately, one of them is Meerkat with a shell activated, so that Vamana's not
mid
gonna
lane,
take too much damage. Mace to the face gets taken out by Grishank, but in the left-hand lane, a beautiful taunt is gonna lead to a lot of damage onto onto Bugsy rather. 80 carried still extremely high, but from around the corner, here comes Grishank. Great ultimates coming out. One will miss, but one will hit, and that's all he needs. Bugsy falls to the wayside thanks to Vamana. Great taunt in the double shield wall. 80 carried very low to the skies, says Grishank, and puts 80 carried in the ground. All 5 members of Rambozos on the left side of this map with Gold Fury down. The middle tower about to fall as well. Rambozos will head back to base, but Ram and his dual lane partner will take out this tier 1 tower. Only 3 towers remain for 5 Angry Men. We are 18.5 minutes, folks, in this match, and Rambozos are more than doubling 5 Angry Men's 8 kills.
That said, 10,000 experience in their favor. Rambozos are doing great in experience, but 5 Angry Men have done a great job of not losing gold. They're down 2,000. They're down 11 kills. 11 kills, 12,000 experience, and now with that inner tower going down 4,000 gold. But they're only down 4,000 gold. That's incredible. Great map control, great farm coming out from 5 Angry Men, and they've used objectives very much in their favor. That fight on the left-hand side went very bad, and there were mistakes made, but Best was able to get an inner tower, which helped a lot. Man, this is a really, really good game. The only other thing I do want to mention, well, Chinsai's done on Vamana, it's huge, but also I love the Heavenly Agility on Aduro. I love it.
Oh,
Meerkat, Mace to the face. Off of the Heavenly Agility, as I speak of it, but that Heavenly Agility directly results in a kill, as they're able to engage as a team so quickly. Best is forced into his ultimate under tower, will die.
Meerkat continuing on the assault, aggressing onto Homie Effie. Oh, pulled back by Chris Pocket. What a clutch ultimate coming out from the Ares. Grishank gonna hit up that jungler. That's jungler on jungler, and down goes Meerkat, the cat. Bugsy gonna be on the backside as 80 carry jumps into 4 members. Beautiful mez, but it's gonna be too little, too late. 80 carry will fall to the wayside. Just a matter of if he can pick up Grishank. The answer is no. Deicide goes the way of the
You think they can? Do you think they can?
So Grishank is very, very low. He's going to be able to pop his steroids and then get out. We have Chris Pocket, Aduro, Meerkat. Honestly, yes. This is definitely a fire giant without a doubt. Mace to the face will come here and try and snipe out Grishank if Grishank stays.
Not fast enough.
But
let's be honest.
No, they're going to
Vamana, Ram.
Yeah.
Even Zhang Kui. I mean, Zhang Kui does 50% more auto attack damage than other mages because of his book passive. You get an extra half an auto attack, and sitting 8-2 and 9, a fair amount of magic power on your Zhang, around 250. He's hitting for about 100, 120. That contributes. That's pretty good. And I mean, with the fire giant now, what can stop the Rambozos? I don't know.
It's gonna have to be calculated picks.
Yeah,
the problem is with the Rambozos,
who do you pick?
You have Vamana, who you don't pick. You have Chris Pocket, who is support. You have Aduro on the tankiest mage in the entire game.
You just die.
You have Grishank, who will turn and burn, and you have the Paradox,
or go
who
up
will
in the
ult.
air.
Yeah. Well, you have Grishank, who will turn and burn, and the Paradox, who will go in the air and wait for the rotation. There really is no safe pick on Rambozos. They have, I want to say, accidentally fallen into this beautiful non-pick comp, and they're just gonna barrel down this mid lane tower.
The exception.
Go ahead.
Habwa, because Habwa can knock you up and ult you. So if they can kill someone in that knockout, that's their chance. And I'm gonna call it. It's turnaround potential is off of Best's ultimate. It's a long shot, but it's possible. The other thing I want to mention: last game, Meerkat looked like a mere kitten, but he has grown up. In this game, he's a mere lion. 8-1 and 5. going in. I love that joke. And nice knockup to interrupt the clear the path. Meerkat in the front line is just going to tank up a lot of damage. With Fire Giant, he'll be able to regenerate. And now getting aggressive, target will be the Phoenix. And they're going to go for right because they have creeps on the way.
Yeah, I like this play, Kret. They're just being aggressive there. At some point, you have to realize
it's going to be a shell
that you
heavenly
have a
all in,
huge
by
lead.
the way.
8,900 gold in the lead, plus the Fire Giant, which is going to add, I mean, what do you say, 1,500 to 2,000 gold, we'll say?
4,000.
At this point in the game.
Speed
4,000, even more. Good talk coming out from Chris Pocket, and Arizol is going to pull a Duro. Bugsy on the back line. Good stuff coming out from Ace to the face as he plays his spacing carefully. Has to stay in the back, doesn't want to become part of the problem. 80 carry going to be taken down by Grishank. The best taking way too much damage. Forced to defensively ult. That is not a, it's not a good look for them.
So
and
what
that will earn
there?
them the Phoenix.
This was super critical coming out from the Rambozos, right? We saw Freya go up in the air, then Ron go up in the air. And Freya drops her 4 Valkyrie's Discretion projectiles. Hold on a second, homie Effie getting taken down real quick by Grishank. Best able to find a kill on a Duro, and he is still very scary. Much respect, needs to go to the supply, and it looks like only one Phoenix is going to go down because Rambozos are going to need to back off. Meerkat just trying to get some farm on the way out. Leaves the big harpy, but hey. Oh, Best could be in trouble. No ultimate available. Meerkat does a lot of damage. Bugsy's going to blink in. Paradox is here. It's all about hitting those autos because there's a timer over Best's head. Eventually, he's just going to kill everyone. Grishank coming in, and it looks like Best is going to fall in time with the help of the pulse for that AoE hits. Bugsy getting turned on as well, and now there is potential for another Phoenix kill. The surrender vote comes out. As I was saying earlier, Frey and Rom go up in the air. They drop their AoE projectiles in front of the Best. He is not allowed to get in those team fights, and it's so important. And
Meerkat is divine. 9 kills in a row for the solo lane Vamana as he makes his way transitioning from that solo lane into that team fight. 10 to 29 is the final kill count.
Yeah.
Rambozos go ahead, cement their guaranteed first seed overall, folks. Rambozos take not just this victory, but they will take #1 overall for the North American Challenger scene. There's still one more week, but Rambozos beat out 5 Angry Men.
The other thing I want to mention is that's okay. So first of all, that surrender, like, they were probably going to lose. Let's be honest. That surrender is just like, yeah, our Titan's going to go down here, or we're going to lose 3 Phoenixes, and this game's over. We don't think we can come back. And honestly, the team fight from Rambozos was really good. They were playing it well. They had the great composition, as I mentioned, using those area ultimates to zone out Best. Don't let him get in, and that's how you can make sure the team fights go well, even if it was a sloppy dive under that right Phoenix, but it was a very, very well played team fight defensively, so that's interesting.
Right. I actually, so Freya winds up doing about 17,000 damage, a little bit less than a Duro on Zhang Kui, about the same as the Best. Good play coming out from Grishanks, but I want to, we're not quite in the last week, Kret, but I still want to get a little nostalgic on you. Rambozos have come so far.
They really have.
Individually as well as team-oriented. Chris Pocket was previously the mechanical person on this team. The Paradox, I think he's missed 1 out of 9 ultimates today. Meerkat knows when to rotate. Aduro has been always a good player. We mentioned he played substitute on Dignitas. Aduro has really come to play. This team, over the past 6 weeks of getting good quality competition, quality being a part of both wins and losses, which I think are very important to growing a team successfully. This team has had ups and downs, and they are looking extremely dominant. We hear a lot on the SPL broadcasts and right here at home on Challenger Cup about how Europe is very strong. Rambozos are one of those teams. The Rambozos are going to make a splash in the North American scene. There's still one more week, Kret, but I don't see Rambozos losing next week at all.
I don't either. I mean, you think they're going to have a perfect run next week? I think that would be really good for them. And here's my only worry about the team is team culture. That's the one thing that I think is a question mark, right? There are some teams that have really good culture, might not be doing so well. Some teams that have really negative culture and perhaps are performing better, but when times go tough, you'll see things come out like roster changes or whatever. And that's important. I think it's a question mark for the Rambozos, especially because some of these players have in the past been a little standoffish or rude, or that they're that guy in ranked who just doesn't get on curse because he doesn't like you or whatever. The other thing I want to mention, And I love that this is a Challenger Cup. It's serious. It matters, but it's still kind of fun, and it's still kind of about fun.
Of course.
I love that 5 Angry Men let 80 carried, ult onto Paradox, kill him, 1v1, and then F6. Like,
Yep.
That's how it's done. You gotta get one last shot.
5 Angry Men are North America's Potato Boys. They play to win, but at the end of the day, they're a group of friends that are just so happen to be a spectacular team. So, and that is an allusion to tomorrow's broadcast. If you join us tomorrow, right here on twitch.tv/SmiteGame, we're going to go ahead and bring you the European version of things. That broadcast will start around 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make that 11 a.m. for the UK folks at home. Make sure you tune in. We have SunTouch and his team, as well as the famous Agilitas. You've heard so much about them on the SPL broadcast. The perfect team for the past 5 weeks. Can they make it 6 weeks? A lot of incredible matches we saw today.
6 weeks, wow.
Lots of incredible matches that we saw today. We'll see some more tomorrow morning. Join me, Kret, production, and everybody else. And for the same people, we bid you adieu. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.